Am I the a-hole for intentionally destroying my mother-in-law's dress at my sister-in-law's wedding? Full story. For some context, I, 32F, have been married to my husband, 34M, we'll call him Mark for privacy reasons, for 6 years. We were high school sweethearts and have always had a really great relationship. I also have a great relationship with his family. His family is huge compared to mine, and as an only child, I've always wanted a big family and more specifically, a sibling or two. Because of this, I ended up developing an extra close relationships with my sister-in-law, 28F, who we'll call Bree. Bree and I have so much in common and often spend time with each other one-on-one. I truly see her as my little sister and would do anything for her in a heartbeat. I feel like I watched her grow up, so you could only imagine my excitement when she announced her engagement to her long-term boyfriend, Derek, 30M. Mark and I have gone on many double dates with Bree and Derek, and I have always loved the two together. When Bree told me that Derek had proposed, I couldn't even contain my excitement and literally just cried tears of happiness for them. The wedding took place 9 months after the engagement and was absolutely beautiful. Bree had even asked me to be her maid of honor. While all of this sounds like a dream, not everything went as picture perfect as it sounds. Although I mentioned having a great relationship with Mark's family, that unfortunately does not include his mother, Jeannie, 56F. Jeannie has an overwhelming problem with needing attention. If Jeannie couldn't have the spotlight, no one could. At Mark and I's wedding, for example, Jeannie felt the need to go behind all of our backs 6 weeks beforehand to hire a choreographer, learn an entire dance, completely stop our reception, and perform a 5-minute routine to Ice Ice Baby in front of everyone. Considering how much I love Bree, I was not about to let anything like this happen on her special day like it did on mine. So here is where the story really starts and also where I need help figuring out whether or not I was the asshole. About a month before the wedding, I went over to Mark's parents' house so that I could continue discussing plans for the wedding with Bree. While waiting for her to get there after work, I was chatting in the kitchen with Jeannie. I told her about how gorgeous I thought the bridesmaid dresses were that Bree had picked out. They were this stunning dark green color that was just absolutely perfect for the whole color theme. That's when Jeannie asked if she could show me the dress she'd gotten for herself to wear on the big day. This threw me off a little bit because Bree, Jeannie, and I had already picked out and bought her dress together. I said sure, and about 10 minutes later, Jeannie comes down the stairs in a full-blown, lacy white bridal gown. I mean, this thing was eye-catching to say the least, as it had a cathedral-length train and a fully beaded lace bodice. I think my jaw actually made a noise when it hit the floor. I told her, Jeannie, this gown is beautiful, but this is not your wedding. You absolutely cannot wear this. Of course, she got defensive, saying, this is my daughter's wedding, and I can wear whatever I please. I immediately started to panic, as I know how Jeannie could be. She is impossible to reason with, and she will in fact do whatever she pleases. So at that time, I just decided to keep my mouth shut. The dress was off and put away by the time Bree showed up, but she could tell something was off with me as we started to discuss plans and whatnot. It was hard for me to decide whether or not to tell her since she was already under so much stress. So I decided I would take care of this myself. Soon after, the day of the wedding arrived and everything was going smoothly. That is, until Jeannie pulls up in front of the venue and dramatically steps out of a limousine wearing that same white wedding dress. When I saw this, I took a big gulp of my red wine and started walking over to her. I'm sure you already have an idea of what happened next. Before she or I could even say a single word, I tripped over my own foot and splashed the entirety of my red wine directly onto her gown. The red wine immediately began soaking into the fabric and dripping down the entire front of the dress. It truly looked like a murder scene, but Jeannie's face? That got even redder than the dress. She started screaming at me and causing a huge scene saying, I did it on purpose, how I was just jealous of her, and how I had completely ruined the wedding. When Bree caught wind of the commotion, she came running outside to see what was going on. When she saw the scene that had just played out, she was in shock, understandably. Jeannie didn't even let her talk and just started screaming at her, telling her how I had ruined everything and to look at what I'd done. That's when Bree's face changed and she actually began to laugh. She told her mom basically to F off and that she knew she would try to do something like this. Jeannie was furious as she climbed back into the limousine, screaming obscenities as they drove off. I looked to Bree and started to profusely apologize, but she just gave me a hug and thanked me for taking care of it. Apparently Bree had seen the dress hidden in her mother's closet months beforehand. I guess she never addressed it because she knew as well as everyone else that Jeannie would wear the dress no matter what. Because of this, she just tried to forget about it since she was already under so much stress. She said she was glad I took care of it, and now she didn't have to worry about her mother upstaging her at her own wedding. While all sounds great and like a happy ending, the family is now divided. Jeannie has taken it upon herself to make a post on Facebook about her jealous, malicious daughter-in-law who ruined her real daughter's wedding. She went as far as including photos of the now red-stained dress, claiming she would take me to court for the damages. Half of the comments are telling Jeannie she got what she deserved. The ones who are on my side reached out to me with their own stories about Jeannie trying to take attention from them on their special days, and thanked me for finally putting her in her place. But the other half seems to agree with her and thinks I went way too far by destroying the dress completely. Even Mark says I was in the wrong and that I should have just tried to talk to her before. Some family members also say I created a bigger scene by doing this instead of just letting her wear the dress. I just tell them how it was truly an accident and that I tripped, but I think they see right through that. Jeannie definitely hates me now, and Mark is definitely not happy with me either. I'm bothered because I never meant for any of this to affect my own marriage, but I feel like my intentions were in the right place as I just wanted to protect my sister-in-law. So what do you guys think? Was I the a-hole in this situation?